Does a man bring down a woman's value? Here are my thoughts. I believe that most men would prefer to be with a woman who has had either no partners at all or a very small number of partners. So that says to me that men put a value on women who have been less active, right? And obviously there's a double standard because every man, I think, would prefer to have a virgin wife, right? But if all men were virgins, then all men were virgins when they got married, then all women would be virgins when they got married. You understand what I'm saying to you? Everybody wants a virgin, but not everybody wants to be with a virgin. All right, so let's kind of tie this into the Bible. John chapter 8, okay? Remember that story is pretty famous about the woman who was caught in the act of adultery, who was brought to Jesus by a bunch of men, a group of men. And these men brought this woman to Jesus and said to him, well, this woman was caught in the act of adultery, the very act of adultery. And Moses in the law says that such should be stoned. What say you? And it says that Jesus totally ignored them. He didn't even answer them. He didn't respond or anything. He just stooped down, started writing on the ground. They kept asking him and asking him. He finally stood up and said to them, he who is without sin cast the first stone, right? And they were convicted. They dropped their stones and they all walked away one by one. And then Jesus turned to the woman and said, where are your accusers? And she said, there's nobody here, Lord. And he said, neither do I accuse you, and neither do I condemn you. He said, go and sin no more. So the one who was without sin, which was Jesus, who could have thrown the stone, didn't condemn her. But these men were. We know that there is a double standard, okay? You know, women don't expect men to be virgins when they get married, but men want women to be a certain way. So Jesus said to her, go and sin no more. Jesus is saying to somebody today, stop having sex with men that you're not married to. She was accused of being caught in the act of adultery. I don't know if she was married or the guy was married or whatever. But obviously, there's a double standard. Even so much so that they were both caught in the act, because if she was in the act, then the man was there. But they only brought the woman before Jesus. Where was the man? This is what I'm trying to say to you. Stop sleeping with men who you're not married to, because it's going to bring down your value. It's going to bring down your value. Not in God's eyes, obviously, but, you know, keep your prize to yourself and save it for your husband. This message is for women. So please share this with a woman who needs to hear this. You're beautiful. You're gems. You're a gift. You're lovely. You're awesome. You're valuable. Keep your value to yourself.